All right, so we are using the Turd Pro, the one that I got sent back to me. Hopefully this works better than it did before. So we'll go ahead and use that, see how it turns out. But I've got a plan for 2025. I'm going to try to flip some of the vehicles that I have. I've got the Danger Ranger that we worked on in the past. I've also got the Cherokee, and I've got my full-size pickup truck, the one that's been in the family coming up on 20 years. We're not going to sell that one. But I got a fake Jeep right here, and my son, because he needed something more reliable, he purchased another vehicle. So this is his Jeep. So we're going to get this cleaned up and ready to sell. And so we're going to work on that, but not in this video, because I wouldn't waste our time on a not Jeep. Okay, so, but what we're looking at I built this, I rebuilt the battery box, had to make some modifications to get the bigger H6 AGM battery into it, and it's definitely worth the money. A battery is just like a bucket of water. If your vehicle needs electricity, compare that to a steam engine that needs water, and basically the bigger the bucket, the more water it holds, the better off you are. So you always want to put the biggest battery you can put in there, especially if you're going to run winches and lights, etc. So I developed this plate here, and we'll get this dug out, and I'll show you what we did to make this work. And it will be off-road ready. All right, so this is the old tray that was in the Cherokee before, and it had, like the newer style, it had a little bevel here to catch the edge of the battery, and then a clamp down that goes on top. However, this thing has been beaten and twisted, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time trying to get this back to its original position, because it wouldn't really retain the battery that well, especially off-road or in a rollover. And so I was going to take and modify this. But then I started looking, and I said, what is all this stuff here? And then I flipped it over, and I see that the previous owner had built up a bunch of Bondo and stuff on there. I guess the battery tray had rotted through, and he basically just Bondoed over it. So that meant I had to go retrieve another battery tray that I had hoarded away. And what I did on the other battery tray, because I don't want to take it out, I basically, it's wide enough for the series battery that I'm using, but it's not long enough. It's about 3/8 of an inch, not long enough. So basically what I did is I cut this little ledge here, and I flattened it out so that the battery can sit in there. Or actually, I did it on this side. I flattened this edge out, and what that does, this actually goes up against the front cowling, the front end. So the battery is allowed to slide forward enough on this battery tray, and then it goes right up against the cowling. So I made this longer so that it wouldn't sit on this ledge. And then what I did is I made a plate. And this plate here captures the battery on each side, holds it down from the top, and then I made these J hooks out of some flat bar and 5/16 threaded rod. And basically they go through the loop that's in the battery box, and then they go through here. I've got a nice flat washer that'll go on there, and right now I got 16-inch flange bolts, but I ordered some Amazon wing nuts, but I'm thinking that wing nuts are cool, but knobs are even better. So I got some plastic knobs with the 5/16 insert so that you'll be able to screw it down. And so that's what we're going to be doing. I'll update and I'll show you when the knobs and the wing nuts come in, but this will hold it down. And I'm also going to get a piece of high density rubber and put it under here as a little cushion also that'll be on top of the battery, and it'll create some of an air gap to minimize corrosion. So that's where we're at with the battery box, and we'll get it together and I'll show it to you in the vehicle, with the exception of the knobs, because the knobs haven't come in yet. Another thing that we're going to do on the Cherokee is the main shaft for the pitman arm coming out of the steering box is leaking. So I have a kit, and actually you can do this pretty easily if that's the only problem that you have with your steering box. You can change these seals out without even removing the box from the vehicle. All you need to do is pull the pitman arm, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so I did get the knotted Jeep Compass ready for sale. It's my son's vehicle. So I spent the majority of the last couple weeks playing around and cleaning that up. But I've got that done, so now I'm going to go back to the Cherokee. I've got a couple goodies that came from the mailman. Not a couple, just one. This one here is my most favorite light, and I dropped it too many times and now the battery won't hold in it. And believe it or not, these things have doubled in cost since I bought this one. So I'm having a little bit hard time swallowing the idea of spending 80 bucks on a new light. But I like it so much I'll probably do it. But look what I got, and this is more for videoing. I got a Ryobi tripod with spot so that I can hopefully improve the quality of my videos. And I know everybody that's probably watched my videos are like, yeah, that's what you need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed and get it set up and tinker with it so that I know how it works. And then Alright, so let me get started on this tripod, and then when I get the tripod set up and working, then we'll move to the Cherokee and we'll start videoing. Alright, so let's look at what we've been doing with the Cherokee. Alright, we recently got off of Amazon, we got a new hood release cable, put that in. One of the things that's kind of cool, you know, being able to fabricate, I didn't have the little pinch bracket there, so I have made my own. And the power steering gearbox I thought was leaking, but it may be just that the high pressure side was not tight enough. So I tightened that up, and it looks like it's not dripping anymore. So there's no reason to fix something that's not broken. I do have the seals if I need it. And if I have to replace those seals, I'll go ahead and video that and include it in another video. But looking at the little hand knobs that came in, I think this is, it looks really good. I mean, the hand knobs look so much better than what would be just the wing nuts. So I'm happy with that. That battery is not going anywhere. And so let's move on and do something else. All right, so in order to make this video productive, I'm going to go ahead and put the inner and outer boot seals in place. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to pull the center section of carpet, and I might have to cut some sound deadening mat that I put in place. But I'm going to pull these seats, pull this carpet, pull those shifters, and all right, so now I have the inner seal. I'm going to go ahead and lay that over here, and then I'm going to draw it out on this felt, or I should say dryer lint, and then I'll know where I can cut this and pull it back in order to fit this thing in. All right, so getting this shifter out was a pain in the butt, and I've seen on YouTube it's similar issue. That is such a tight rubber fit that goes into here. And basically when I pulled it out, I used a slide hammer to get it out. And basically what it did is it pulled the cup out and bent these little tangs. So hopefully I can get these tangs bent back into position and put the short shifter rod back in so I can help with the alignment of the boot. All right, so what I did get this fixed where I believe it'll go back together. However, it's spring loaded and you have to push it down in order to turn it. So you would need to have some kind of wrench, spanner wrench that would go in here. Or you could do what I did and drill 2 holes in there so that you can have a ring wrench to go in there. And so that's what I'm going to use. And this should help out because I can later put the shifter back together, and then in order to seat it, all I have to do is put the wrench on there and lock it in place. After cleaning up and cutting up and doing some things here, this is where we're at now. Is we are at a point where this transfer case shifter bracket is in position. However, the contour doesn't match. So I'm going to have to make a plate that will go underneath this, and I'll tack weld it in and also secure some of this up, because with all the material that's been removed, it's kind of flimsy. So I'll have to take and put some patch in there and get that ground up, cleaned up, and then we'll be able to continue on from there. But now the shifter is in line with the boot, and so then we'll be able to put it all back together. All right, this is what I've been working on. I have built a plate that will allow this to follow the contour of the bracket, and will actually allow me to bolt this on to the floor flatter, because the contour of the floor wasn't ideal. So I put that together, and now I'm going to put the butyl tape over that, more for heat and to prevent rust, etc. And once I get that on there, then I'll be able to mount the inner seal and then the outer seal. And I did get the seal kit, the shifter seal and pivot from Amazon. I'll go ahead and post that in the link. So I got the parts for that. The thing that kind of surprised me is this tapered bushing here. On the old one actually had like corroded to the point where it was like sand. So I don't know what that previous one was made out of, but Lord willing, this one will be a little bit better. And I got the Amazon Superlight. I got the Amazon Superlight to replace the broken one. And I'm going to go ahead and move my magnets to the new one, and that way I'll have my Superlight back. All right, so I've got the short side of the shifter out, and this actually goes into that. And so I am going to knock this down a little bit so that it's not such a tight fit. There's dimples in there that grab this slot. So I'm going to knock a little bit off and put some never sees on here. And for if the shifter, the top part of the shifter wants to pop out later, then I'll take and run a set screw through the handle into here to capture that. So I do not want to have to fight this thing again. And so that way I'm going to I'll knock down a little bit, get me better clearance, put some Never Seas on there, and hopefully that prevents it from freezing up like it did last time. All right, so we've got to pull this apart, and it looks, I mean, you can see inside there, there's like 40% of that bushing still left in there, that tapered bushing. And like I said, it's like falling apart. So we got to get that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff a little rag in there, bust it up, and then vacuum it out. So let me get busy on that. And that snap ring wrench idea works awesome on this. So I probably won't ever fight one of these again now that I know the trick. All right, this is where we're at. This took longer than I thought to because I had to do several things twice because I'm not very smart, but that all looks good now. And it doesn't look like I'll need to extend the transfer case rod. It looks like it's gonna be fine where it's at. So let me get a picture on the other side. Well, yeah, this is what it looks like. I'm digging it. That is so much better than the hodgepodge that I'd put together before. So let's get this video out. All right, so I pushed the vehicle forward. I didn't even drive it. And that shaft, pitman arm shaft, started to leak again. It's actually dripping right out. So in the next video, or in a video, I'll show you how to replace those seals. And you don't even have to remove the gearbox from the vehicle. And like I said, we'll get to that on another day.